Hi, today I'm going to be showing you the Opal Crackle Varnish from Pentart. It's a two-part crackle system that is meant to be used on glass, and it gives you the effect of a frosted finish with a crackle through it so it looks vintage. It's a simple product to use. You apply the first step, let it dry thoroughly, and then apply the second step. After that's dried thoroughly, you can apply wax paste or whatever you'd like to bring out the crackles that you see. One of the keys to getting a successful finish is to use a soft, dry brush for each step. Also letting it dry thoroughly in between and not going over it too much with the brush, putting it on and letting it dry. The first thing I did was I cleaned the glass with some rubbing alcohol, and it's completely dry. The next step is just to take step one and start painting it on your glass. So you're just going to put it on in even strokes. You could go up and down, side to side, whichever way you'd like to go. But as you can see, I'm not playing with it too much. I'm just putting it on and then let it go. After I coat this completely, I'll just set it aside and wait for it to dry. I can accelerate it with a hairdryer, but just be careful because it is glass and you don't want it to get too hot and crack it. You know you're ready for step two when it dries clear. You'll still see a little bit of a shine to it, but it went on murky, milky, and it turns clear. So now you're ready for step two. Now you don't want to put this on too thick where it's a project you're doing, you have to stand up, it's going to slide down, but it is thicker than some of the other step two products. So I'm using a clean, soft, dry brush, and I'm going to put it on, and I'm not going to go over it too much. I'm just going to put a nice thin coat. Doesn't matter which direction. Now that's starting to dry a little bit. I'm not going to go over that again. So just do the rest of your project, and you can either dry it with the hairdryer carefully, or you can just let it sit and dry. This is completely dry, and I got some great cracks, as you can see. I haven't added anything yet to highlight it. You could leave it like this. You could put lights inside, and you get a really pretty effect. But what I want to do next is add a mold. I'm going to use this to make a casting and put it on here and paint it, and then I'll show you how to add the wax to make the cracks even more apparent. Okay, I've applied this casting and painted it white gold creamy acrylic metallic paint, and now I'm going to apply the antique paste to the glass in gold. Now you can use any color. There's so many colors to choose from. Blue or red at Christmas would look really pretty. The silver, gold. I'm going to use the gold antique paste because it's easier to wipe off than the gold wax paste. But you could still use it if you wanted to leave more color on the glass. So let's just try this. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my finger. And I'm just going to try it on the back first and rub it on. And then with using a soft cloth, I'll wipe it off. It left a little gold on the glass, but more of it is in the cracks, which is really pretty. Now, just to show you the difference, let me do a little bit of the gold paste, wax paste, on the bottom here. See how it goes on so much thicker? And it's a little bit harder to wipe off. But as you can still see the cracks. So if you wanted the glass a little more gold, or if you want to use blue or any other color, you'll get more color in the glass itself. So let me just finish with this. Now, another thing that I didn't show you, but say I wanted to paint the bottom half of this glass in like a creamy color paint, I could do the crackle over the paint as well as the glass. You still will get cracks. You can still fill it in with the paste. It's just that you won't get this opalescent look, but it's still a good crackle to use in your project. So it's perfectly fine to use over paint. I wouldn't use it over a decoupage rice paper or a napkin, because then you're going to get a cloudy effect. It will cloud the rice paper because it's going to leave that this look on it of opalescence. You could also use a dark wax to go around the edges and even on the mold to make it look a little bit more vintage. Another way you can color the project using the Opal Crackle is to apply your crackle, just like I showed you, let it all dry. I made this small mold and a little piece of rice paper from AB Studios. It's a little bird. And then what I'm going to do is paint the back. I'm going to use the deluxe paste in anthracite and just pounce it on with a sponge brush. And here's how it looks after one coat. So I put a second coat on the back, and now I'm putting a little bit of silver wax on the front to fill the cracks, and it's giving it a nice effect. Then what you could do with something like this is put it on another project. So it could be the focal point of, say, a book or a jewelry box. You could put a frame around it, a clay frame. You could make a resin frame and put it around the edges and set this on a pretty background. Just using a brush here to get into all the crevices, and just wipe it off with a little bit of a piece of soft paper towel. And there you have it. So that is the Opal Crackle varnish system. 2 steps, very easy to use, and a beautiful crackle finish with an opal sheen left on the glass.